Family. It's supposed to be your safe harbor, the one place you can always turn to. For me, that harbor turned into a storm. Andy the pirate was my own sister, Sarah. We were never the closest. He was the bookworm, the one who found excitement in numbers and the patterns. She was the social butterfly, always chasing the next big thrill, the next flashy thing. He built a career as a federal financial crimes expert, a job most people, including my family, found incredibly boring. They just knew he was good with money and he worked for the government. They had no more idea my day-to-day involved untangling webs of deceit spun by the country as most cunning financial criminals. Little did he know, my biggest case was about to hit closer to home than he could ever imagine. It all started with a letter, not an email, not a text, but a thick, cream-colored envelope with an unfamiliar bank's logo embossed in the corner. It was addressed to me, but the return address was for a high-end lender I'd never heard of. He remembers thinking it was probably just aggressive marketing. He almost tossed it, but something, a gut feeling honed by years of sniffing out fraud, made me open it. Inside, the words swam before my eyes. Final notice, your loan of $90,000 is now in default. My heart hammered against my ribs. $90,000? He hadn't taken out a loan for a cup of coffee, let alone assumed it could buy a luxury car. My first thought was a sophisticated identity theft ring. He immediately pulled my credit reports from all three bureaus. And he saw it was, a gaping hole in my pristine financial history. The loan was real. It was taken out 6 months prior, with my name, my social security number, my date of birth. Everything was perfect. Too perfect. As he dug deeper, a cold dread began to creep in. The application used an email address he didn't recognize and a phone number that wasn't mine. But the residential address, it was an old one, a place he hadn't lived at in over 5 years. Only a handful of people knew he had ever lived there. My family. My mind started racing, connecting dots he didn't want to see. He thought about Sarah's recent extravagant lifestyle, the new designer wardrobe, the lavish trips she posted all over social media, the down payment on a flashy new convertible. She'd told everyone she'd gotten a big promotion and a hefty bonus. We were all so proud of her. But the timing, it was uncanny. It lined up almost perfectly with when the loan was taken out. Could she? No more, it couldn't be. Not my sister. He decided to do some quiet investigation, using the same skills he used at work. He ran a search on the burner phone number from the loan application. It pinged back to a device that had been activated near Sarah's apartment. Then, the email address. It was a variation of a nickname only my family used for me. The pieces were clicking into place, forming a picture of betrayal that made me feel sick to my stomach. She hadn't just stolen my money. She had stolen my identity, my security, my trust. She had gambled my entire financial future on a new car and some fancy clothes. The most ironic part, she had no more idea that the boring sister who was good with numbers was one of the few people in the country who could systematically dismantle the very crime she had committed. She thought she was playing with a kitten. She didn't realize she had poked a tiger. He had to confront her. He drove to her apartment, the evidence printed and organized in a neat folder on the passenger seat. My professional calm was a thin veneer over a raging sea of hurt and anger. When she opened the door, she was all smiles, wearing a dress that probably cost more than my monthly mortgage payment. "Hey, what a surprise!" she chirped. He walked past her and sat on her plush new sofa. He didn't say a word, just opened the folder and laid the first document on the coffee table, the loan default notice. Her smile faltered. "What's this?" she asked, her voice a little too high. He placed the next document down the loan application with her fake email address circled in red. Then the next, showing the phone records. With each piece of paper, the color drained from her face. The social butterfly's wings were crumpling. There was no more hiding. She broke down, of course. The tears came, along with a torrent of excuses. Her business was failing, she was deep in debt, she was trying to keep up appearances. She saw an opportunity, an easy way out. She knew he had excellent credit and a stable job. She figured I'd never notice, or if he did, he wouldn't have the heart to do anything about it. He was going to pay it back, I swear. She sobbed. He just needed a little more time. Pay it back? She had already defaulted. She didn't have a plan. She had a wish. What hurt the most was her complete disregard for me. She saw my good name not as something to be respected, but as a resource to be exploited. She didn't see me as her sister. She saw me as her personal bond, a get-out-of-jail-free card. She underestimated me. She underestimated my principles. This is where my professional life and the personal life collided in the most spectacular way. He looked at my sobbing sister and he laid out her options, not as a sibling, but as a financial crimes expert. You have two choices, Sarah, he sighed, my voice steady and cold. Option 1, you report this. Given the evidence, you'll be facing federal charges for bank fraud and the aggravated identity theft. With the amount, you're looking at significant prison time. Your life, as you know it, will be over. Her eyes widened in terror. Option 2, he continued, you give me a full, written confession. You will liquidate every single asset you purchased with this money. The car, the clothes, the jewelry, all of it. The proceeds will go directly to the lender. You will then work with me to create a legally binding repayment plan for the remaining balance. You will follow it to the letter. You will also agree to family counseling, because what you did broke something you don't know how to fix on my own. She chose option 2. The next few weeks were a blur of painful activity. Watching her sell off her glamorous life piece by piece wasn't satisfying. It was just sad. It was the pathetic and a stupid, selfish gamble. The car was repossessed. The designer bags were sold on consignment. He guided her through every step, not with sympathy, but with cold, professional efficiency. He set up the payment plan with the lender, explaining the situation as a case of familial financial fraud that was being rectified internally. My reputation at work helped smooth things over, but it was still a nightmare of paperwork and the legal agreements. He had to freeze my own credit and he spent countless hours cleaning up the mess she made. It was exhausting. Our relationship is, for all intents and purposes, destroyed. We attend the mandatory counseling sessions, but the trust is gone. You look at her and you see a stranger who wore my sister's face. So why am I telling you this? First, as a warning, protect your information, even from those closest to you. Identity theft isn't always a shadowy hacker in a foreign country. Sometimes, it's sitting right across from you at the dinner table. Be vigilant. Check your credit reports regularly. Second, we want you to know that no matter how deep a hole you're in, there are right ways and the wrong ways to get out. Taking the wrong way, the easy way, will always cost you more in the end. It cost my sister her possessions, her dignity, and her relationship with me. It's a price she'll be paying for the rest of her life. My name is clear now, and my finances are secure, but the scar on my heart remains. She didn't know he was a federal financial crimes expert, but the real tragedy is that she forgot he was her sister. Thank you so much for listening to my story. It wasn't easy to share, but I hope it serves as a valuable lesson. If you found this story compelling or helpful, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more content. Stay safe out there, and take care of each other.